Good evening, everyone. Welcome back to another wonderful tasting of the Virtual Tasting Society. My name is Vadim Perlovsky, and today I'm excited to welcome Alan Laws, the founder of Laws Whiskey House out of Denver, Colorado. Al was with us in person a couple of years ago at a lunch we hosted where he pulled out some bottles from his personal library. And I think we tasted barrel number one, if I'm not mistaken, back then.
We did.
Yeah, so that was quite a treat. But can't always get Al in person as much as we want to. Sometimes we have to settle for Zoom. So we are excited to have you back and to share everything that we've missed over the last couple of years. It's been a tough time in the industry, and I'm glad to see you're still here and kicking butt. So we just wanted to touch base, see how you're doing, any new expressions we should look out for, and maybe introduce some new people to Law's Whiskey House. And yeah. Thank you, everyone, for joining us. Al, please tell us about
Hey,
yourself. Tell us about the
yep.
brand.
Appreciate the invite and always love doing stuff with you, Vadim. Like, had a great time last time and looking forward to more of these in the future. But tonight, yeah, we're going to go through a bunch of some of our core whiskeys and then a couple specials. One that's super special to me that you can't really get. So this kind of unattainium kind of stuff. So I might have a few bottles with partial labels laying around here, but I think you're going to like that. And then something we have that's come out new at the very end that is like pure candy. And so we're pretty proud of it too. But for just an introduction, like Lost Whiskey House here's in Denver, Colorado, we're a grain to glass or dirt to glass, we like to say, because we care about the soil that the grains are even grown in. And we we've been doing this for 15 years. I can't hardly believe that. And yeah, we're glad we're still here for now. These last 2 years have been pretty terrible, like for the whole sector. And um, these are the times where I don't know, kind of see who you are and what you are in the whiskey world and what you're trying to make and how does it stand up and does it still resonate and all these kind of things are all questions we asked over the last 2 years and decided that, yeah, we do still matter. And we came out swinging this year and have done really well, especially in our home market, and intend to continue to do this with our flagships and things that we think are particularly good. It all starts at a couple farms down in the Cody family farm, which is in the San Luis Valley in Colorado. It's an ancient seabed. The soil is in certain conditions that grow really amazing grain. So, as you'll see tonight, a lot of our whiskeys, or almost all of our whiskeys, we focus on being grain forward, but that doesn't mean young. Like this is like awesome. People go, "Oh, grain forward, it's young." No, 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 no. These are heirloom variety grains that are providing more flavor and differentiated flavors more than just strong flavor, which make our whiskey pretty unique. Also, our mash bills are different and tend to define some of our flavor profiles as well. So our small grains all come from there, and then all our corn comes out from like I don't know 3 hours east of here by the Kansas border. Grown for us, triple cleaned. This is dent number one. That's how cleaned out it is. Um, we think that start everything in whiskey starts with the substrate. So what it's made out of, where those grains are grown, all identify our whiskey as different. Like I think every one of you are whiskey people. So, Scotch or bourbon or Tennessee whiskey or stuff from upstate, it tastes different often, not because of the recipe, but because of where the grains are grown. Like this is truly got terroir. Just like grapes, the varietals matter. We'll focus in on varietals, but the varietals grown in a particular area is a better definition of how the flavors are framed. But we started this company 15 years ago to do it, in our view, the right way. My Yoda, who passed last June at 90, he stuck with us and trained even our whole team on this because we were going to do it the right way. We didn't want to take any shortcuts. We don't use little barrels. We never have. We were going to let the whiskey be ready before we put it in glass. So we didn't sell any 2-year-old whiskey. We don't make anything else. We don't make gin, don't make vodka. We only make whiskey. We make a few other things like We made some brandy because we got the substrate free from Coors. And so things like that, and that's helped us become better at what we do as well because we've made Curacao and we've made Amaro and things like that from brandy, not from neutral spirit. So we're pretty dialed into where it comes from, what it's made out of. I think you'll taste that tonight. But over these years, like we started out with something different because I wanted to add, not copy. So I want to add something to this fabric of the great history of American whiskey. And so we came out first with the 4 grain. The goalposts, when it's working with with Bill Mayota, I call him Yoda because he never answered a question. He always asked you more questions until you came up with the answer yourself. It is exactly like Yoda. And so his thing was always like, well, what do you want it? And I'm like, well, I had at that time 700 different whiskeys in my house. I don't anymore. COVID definitely got rid of a lot of those. Um, but wow, well, I said like the flavors that we're interested in, or the profile or the experience is really how I'd frame it, was something that fell between the experience of being easy to drink and and so you don't scare people off at the front end, and then the layered complexity on the finish and in the middle, right? So I thought Maker's Mark was one of the most approachable, easy to drink for anybody bourbon. If I want to get some bourbon and they're like, I don't really know, I'm like, hey, here's where we're gonna start. And it's pretty easy, and the front is really nice, and we liked weeded bourbons more than rye. Now we have a 4 grain, but its second constituent component is wheat, and it's higher than the rest of them for now. That can change in the future. We have been messing with that too. But the first goalpost was that, and the second goalpost was, well, I want complexity, I want layers, but I also want a low corn recipe. I want the flavor grains to tell the story. So my favorite in that category was Four Roses with the 60% corn mash bill. So those are the two goalposts, and I think you'll find if your memory serves you on those two things, you're going to find the first one falls right in the middle of that. So I think let's start. Like I'll take any questions along the way. I don't want to talk about myself very much. I'm not really that good at that. So I'd rather talk about the whiskey. So the first one that you're going to try today is our flagship, the thing we sell the most of. And this has changed a little bit over the years. Ooh, look at this. This is our Laws 4 grain straight bourbon whiskey batch. It's either 33 or 34. They're,
Now, so
they're,
we have 6 samples in front of us. Everybody's got 1 ounce little vials.
yeah.
Um, we're going to start with the 4 grain. Do you want to tell us what order we're going to put them in, just because so we can line it up? And some people have six
Oh,
glasses, so we can pre-pour and let it open up a little.
okay. Sorry. The way I saw it in the email, I'm doing it that way.
Okay, yeah, perfect.
So
Yeah,
we're gonna
whatever.
start.
We always ask whatever order you prefer for us to taste it in, because it's your product, it's your baby. We can go whatever order you like, but the way we have it written down is 4 grain, St. Louis rye, wheat, bourbon finished in cognac,
Yeah.
and then super weeder, and then 10-year rye. Is that the order you're happy with, or would you like us to
Yeah.
reorganize that?
If I could change it, I didn't think I could change
You
it.
could
So,
change. It's your show. You can change it. It's your whiskey.
okay. Here's the order then. We're
Okay,
gonna start with the 4 grain. And then we're going to try the 4 grain finished in cognac casks
makes
and
sense.
Foeder and a Solera and that'll be a long explanation of what that is. And then I think I want to try the Centennial Wheat
Makes
bonded
sense.
7-year-old.
Okay,
And then we'll try Super Weeder, the crazy Super Weeder. And then we'll finish with the 2 ryes. We'll go San Luis Valley Rye and then the new bonded rye.
perfect.
That's the order I would like to do it in. So let me see if I can redo this. Um,
And Jane just put the tasting order in the chat. We're on it. Yeah, that flavor wise, that makes the most sense for sure. We just had it lined up, and hey, look at that. Brandon got it right on the nose. We know it looks like some people know what they're doing. Look at that.
Oh, I moved him before I. Okay, yeah, I'm good. Okay.
Love your visor, by the way. I think we had the Whiskey Sisters on last time. The last time we had virtual, we had the Whiskey Sisters on. It was super nerdy and it's awesome. We loved it.
Yeah, they're super great. That
Yeah.
whole family is great. So,
And the Star Wars themed visor totally goes right into your Yoda mentality for sure.
yeah, we love all the people that are involved with us, right? The Cody family,
Hmm.
Colorado Malting, Whiskey Sisters. We don't do business with folks that we don't like, who or aren't going to follow the same kind of soulful way we go about this. It's pretty important to us, right from the grain. Like all the way, it's not just the grain and where it's grown; it's who grew it. That matters too, right? I think so, anyways.
Agreed.
So let's try the first one. And you guys are pros of this. We always tell people to open their mouth and breathe through their nose and mouth at the same time so they don't fry the olfactory. And but this will be the first with I'm assuming it's your first whiskey of the night, but I could be wrong.
I remember when I visited the distillery when Brandon set me up for a tour. And I remember it was Jolene that showed me around, and she was so proud of the four grain. And she's like, those other companies where people literally, like less than a month ago, there was people at a major well-known brand standing in line for a mile to get their four grain bourbon. She's like, taste this. This is our four grain bourbon, and we're not making you stand in line for it. It's awesome. And I just remember that. And I remember it being so good.
There's not many of these out there, but it has become sort of a minor category. But the way we look at it is we're using all four American mother grains. We're not using birdseed. So we're not interested in some of these things with canola or whatever. And I'm not doing that. So we're making it with the real core grains that formed America, among other things. So, and I'll tell you, this is the whiskey that we build this whiskey every batch. So it has 5 year, 7 year, and 10 year in it. So it's a vertical. But at the same time, we also use this isn't a Solera, but what we do is we put 500 gallons of the last batch into the new batch. And then we let it sit for a day or so, and then we pull out those 500 gallons. So in theory, there's molecules from batch one in this. We've done that all along. And part of this is to smooth differences between the two, but it's also to add some character because we've made choices along the way to tilt it in certain directions to either be a little more spicy and dry or a little bit more fruity. So we kind of pick up all that along the way. And this is our this is what we lead with. So it's pretty important to us that we spend the time on it. But it's 95 proof. It's going to have you're going to taste all four American mother grains. So the first part of it is like just sweet. That's corn. Lower corn, so not as cloyingly sweet as, say, something I might have here from Kentucky. But I got some Green River sitting here. So it's not going to be as sweet as Green River for sure. And the next thing is this penny metallic bite. And we'll get to that near the end. But it's amazing kind of bite and it's different. This isn't a rye that, like when we get to the ryes, has corn in it. This is like 100% SLV varietal out of the San Luis Valley. Very distinctive. When we get to the rye, the farmers think the rye tastes like the air when they're harvesting the grain. It'll have those characteristics. But that's the second element in the sip. And then I think you'll get what's kind of its flavor core or its mid palate core, which is it's Centennial white wheat. It's 20% of the mash bill. So 60, 10, 20, 10. And this is only grown here. It isn't a hard red barbarian varietal. It's not. It's Centennial white wheat. It actually acts, and it's a spring wheat. It actually acts in the ferment like rye. It has a lot more protein in it. So it stresses out the yeast, and they give off really cool esters. The cool esters in this tend to be orange And then you can get some cardamom, cinnamon, but it's the orange, I think, that prevails. And then when we get to the 100% wheat whiskey, I think you'll be able to see this. So don't drink all this because I want you to come back and see if we took you on the journey. We're not pouring corn whiskey tonight. We do have a Bonnet corn whiskey too. It's very floral and very vegetative and kind of cool too. But it's something you drink around a campfire out of the bottle, not something you put in glass in my mind. It's that kind of whiskey. And then the last part of it should be this nutty, call it walnut, hazelnut kind of finish. So after I said that, try it again and see what you think.
You said it's 60, 20, 10, 10. So 60 corn, 20 white wheat,
Yeah,
10 rye, and 10 barley.
yes. And the
Malted barley.
barley for us is not just for conversion. Okay. It's not for the diastic that it has. It has a lot of that, obviously, but it's scarlet barley. So it's originally from Scotland, and it has real flavor. So if you ever had our malt whiskey, which we don't put out a lot of, it's very, very, very nutty. And because we make it in sour mash style, you could put a to the third power nutty on it. And as it gets to about 8 or 9 years, that kind of gives way to a bunch of other notes, but the nuttiness doesn't go away.
That's Henry Road, right?
Yes.
Okay.
So that's the first one. Thoughts, questions? There's a little bit of maple syrup kind of feel to it. That's what I get in the sweetness. That's because I'm Canadian and I drank a lot of maple syrup.
And this spends its whole life in a virgin oak cask, right?
Correct. So again, 5, 7, and 10. And that the constituent components of 5, 7, 10 shift as we try to get the flavor to where we want it. And we like people ask us, why don't you have a 10-year-old bourbon out? Well, I'd rather use it in this. In this environment here in Colorado with the barometric pressure swings, our bourbon gets very heavy very quick. And at 10, I don't super love it, but I do love it as a layer in our flagship. And we have put out 10 and 12 and these kind of things, but it's, I'll be honest, like people will say, well, this is the best one because it's not. We get better at this every year and we're careful and we care about the flavors more so than the age statement on it.
Wait, you're saying the oldest and the highest ABV isn't always the best?
I know it's shocking.
Every tater in the room just left.
But to have the option of having old stuff, that we started doing this in the flagship 5 years ago. We said, like, hey, we're gonna put some 10 in it. And our finance people grumble and then they go, oh, well, all right, we're gonna sell that for no man, we're not. We can do single barrels of it, we'll offer it up. We do sell some of it, but I'm like, I'd rather use it to, make our core thing more sophisticated. And again, we don't ever just take it for granted. We always focus in on it. We use 3 different types of barrels. We use a regular independent stave company bourbon barrel, 9 months air dried staves. We use Cooper Select, which is all we use now when we make stuff. And it's 12 to 18. I think it's 18 months air dried. And it makes no difference whatsoever until the whiskey goes over 3 years. And then the Cooper Select matters. And then we've also used, this was really to try to add a particular note that never came through, but for a number of years, 1 in 5 barrels was a low char, deep toast, wave stave barrel from Independent Stave. And it was supposed to give us coconut notes, which when I have a bourbon and it has a little coconut notes, I'm like, ooh, me likey. So I'm like, so I was trying to create that and we didn't get it. In fact, the wave stave barrels were regressive to how everything aged. So if we're putting 5 year in, they mostly tasted like 4.5. They're like 6 months behind all the time. But the cool part about them, and we don't use them anymore, but we have a lot of them, is that they did create things like pineapple and mango notes, and it really lights up the rye when we use them in rye. So a lot of single barrels end up being wave stave barrels, which is kind of interesting to me, given that, you know, the deep toast definitely activates and converts wood sugars into, miscible things either in water or alcohol. So, but they're completely different, is what we found. But that's our core product right there. I don't
There's a
know that you
couple of
like it.
comments in the chat. Tim was at our in-person event, and he pointed out, Tim, why am I talking for you? You can talk. You want to say something?
Well, the whole lineup then was so good, but I rarely at the tastings are really blown away by the cores. I'm always like the special bottles and the single barrels and the higher proofs and such. But this one was so good that right under here under my desk, I have I have a bottle of it that I picked up. I actually picked up multiple bottles at the tasting. It was so good.
Thank you. I appreciate that. It's what we lead with, and we care about it still today. It isn't an afterthought. It still remains something that we spend a lot of times. And again, we build this, unlike some of the other ones. The other ones is just barrel selection, and this is barrel selection, age profile, vertical, couple different varieties of it each time, and then titrating its way to get us to where we say this is what we love. We have a much smaller team than a few years ago. So Sam's got, he stands on a basketball and he juggles while he has to do all these things. Because this batch, well, I have 34 because 33 is already gone. You might have 33, but still 70 barrels. And to get to that, you got to pull down 150, and it takes weeks to find the ones. We were good at making them, got really good at making it. So the core is pretty established. But then the idea is to bring two to the team, one that's dry and spicy, fruity and grainy. The two things we bring two versions, and then we compare it to the last one, and then we can even go back a couple if we want. But it's become something we do pretty well, but we do well because it takes a lot of time in the quote unquote kitchen to do it. So there's still a labor of love for us.
That's awesome. And then Jeff asked the question about the wheat. Jeff, do you want me to read it for you?
No, I was just curious. At my restaurant, we actually carry both your San Luis Rye and the four grains, but I wasn't aware until now that your Centennial Colorado wheat is more fruity than your typical Kentucky wheat, which I find to be that those desserty characteristics, the caramel and the butterscotch, and that's just something I didn't know. And is that typical for what you're finding?
No, this is way different. So wheat whiskeys or wheat bourbons take longer to develop than the rye ones. So at 5, 6 years, the rye ones are great. So we have been making a 3-grain rye, a 3-grain wheat to learn from that too. And our 3-grain wheat is now almost 7 years old. And at 5, we were like, huh. At 6, we're like, We even showed it to some accounts. Say, hey, no one's bought this yet. So, but we're offering to you in single barrel, but you want it, but try it. It's different. And now that it's close to 7, we're not sure we want to show it to anybody yet. We want to put it ourselves because it's got to that level. And then the wheat whiskey we're going to try is a bonded wheat whiskey, and I've loved it since it was 4. My team, not so much. It has some cool tannic heat from the grain that I quite like because it had a lot of texture, but that texture is definitely mellowed and integrated by the time it hits 7. I think next year we might even put out a 10. So this time next year we might have a 10-year-old 100% wheat whiskey. I love this whiskey. If I go into our whiskey sanctuary, our new tasting room brand thing, I order 1.5 ounce wheat whiskey, 1.5 ounce wheat whiskey finished in carousel casks on a big cube. That's what I order. And it's delicious, especially this time of year because the fruit notes are crazy on it. But we're going to get to that. We're going to move on to the next one, though. Okay. This is going to take a while to explain. So, how many of you like finished bourbon? It may not be your favorite thing, but like you like that as a cool, neat thing, right? It just it's something different. And it's different every time, and everyone does it differently. If you use different barrels, where the barrels come from. All of our barrels come from Vicard in France. They're a cooperage there. And they take all these old bourbon barrels. They don't tell us how old they are, 30 years, 40 years, or not bourbon barrels, cognac barrels. And they break them all down and they create new barrels for us out of these things. But they'll even put in new French oak staves if you want. We've never done that yet. Um, we did this early on as part of a program. We're like, hey, let's do this because we don't know what we're doing. We could learn something from doing this. And so we're like, oh, well, let's start. And so we got like one of, I don't know, 8 or so different finishing sauternes, like white port, ruby port, Armagnac, like you name it. We actually got a Tesserone cognac cask, which they weren't supposed to tell us that, but it was on the manifest. So they didn't even break that one down. That one was still ugly when we got it. So we started to do this. This is part of our learning, right? Like we started 15 years ago, had a great Yoda. We did stuff. We felt really confident in it because we had really good guidance. But some of the stuff is like, okay, well, you could make this really bad. Like you could waste a bunch of whiskey by putting it into this thing and making it turn out. And I'll tell you, we've done that. The worst one we ever did was the Orosa sherry cask. And the guy who it was his project hung on to this thing for, no, it's going to get better. No, it's going to get better. No, it is not. And we eventually, after 8 years, redistilled it. That's how bad it was. It was terrible. And so some of these things don't turn out. So we're like, Armagnac has turned out really well for us. Sauternes does a really good job for us. On let me step back a bit. Everything we did needed a null hypothesis. What were we trying to do by putting it in that cask? Knowing what our bourbon tastes like, what its characteristics are, what are we trying to highlight? What are we trying to mellow? What are we trying to maybe muddle? That's real. And so everyone who had an idea how to come up with like a null, like, hey, my null hypothesis is it'll do this, this, and this. And so we went into stuff like that in a very, geeky science way. That's who we are. And so, Cognac was like, oh my God, it has these notes. There's grape notes. We'll do this. Armagnac was really good, really early. And we're like, well, this is kind of interesting. White port was okay. Other ones that were crazy good were one we only had 3 of was Madeira. And the Madeira with the oxidized wine thing, I can't describe that one. It's almost got umami. It's so interesting. So, but these were part of like, hey, I think if we do this, it's going to be like salty and more like soy sauce. And sure enough, it came through. But cognac was one of the first. And we're like, cognac, the grape, the fruit, we have a lot of fruity kind of flavors here. Okay, let's do it. Get one of these things. These things are god awfully expensive. Like new bourbon barrels, like $240 now, maybe even less than that, $235. A used cognac cask is like $700, and then another $400 to get it here. So there's a big financial commitment to this, and it happened to be a 300 liter. So we're gonna put, 1.5 barrels of. At the time, we put 3-year-old in it, and we're like, we could sell that, and we're gonna put it in this. But we did it anyways because it's for the art of it all. And then we tried it often, and we got 6 months in, and we're like, oh, it's so good. Let's bottle it. We only sold it in the tasting room. Did that, sold out really quick. And then we're like, whoa, that was one of the first ones where the port one was really good too. And we're like, oh my God, this is pretty good. And then we're like, oh, well, it's good, but it kind of tastes like our bourbon with a float of cognac on it. It wasn't very integrated. So like, okay, let's go back to this. Well, how do you? Well, we'll leave it longer. That's what we're gonna do. Like, because we don't have all this fear and anxiety about are we wrecking this stuff, or we didn't have any of that. So we went, okay, this was going for a year, and that one, whew, that went quick too, and it was way better. So it wasn't a float; it had some integration. And so now you could taste it not just in the front end, like, oh, there's the grape, and then oh, kind of mid palate and didn't finish, just finished like bourbon. Again, learning. Then the geekiness goes a little bit down the rabbit hole. We're like, well, we're pairing this in a way with cognac. What is cognac? We have a very good friend, Ellen Royer, and he was a cognac blender. He's out there. He has helped people build cognac brands and all this kind of stuff. And he was very helpful to us. And we're like, well, tell us about the soul of cognac. And cognac isn't like wine and spirits like Armagnac, where it has a vintage year. This is about blending your way to perfection. Different combinations, different thing, different age profile. Just keep blending it till it gets to it. All those things combined create something that's beautiful. So we're like, that sounds like something we'd be into. So we're like, how do we do this? Like, oh, I know. We'll do series of these and we'll put them all together and then create like this large volume of it, let it sit for a bit, let it integrate, and then harvest a third of it like every year and then top it off. A modified Solera. Oh my God, like we could do this. Yeah. And then Elan came in and he said, this is a good idea, guys, but here's the thing. What you should do is buy a Foeder. I didn't even know what that was. And he's like, it's like a really large French oak vat that they use in cognac for blending. They have all kinds of them. He goes, I can get you one, or if you want more, because they decommission them time to time. And I'm like, okay, so the game here now is we're going to build up this volume in a living, breathing tank. And it's not a tank, it's a French oak vat. And so it's not just integrating over multiple series of us doing this, but it's also still alive. And we're only going to harvest a little bit and then rebuild it up. So the one you're going to taste tonight, its core is 8 years old. And then we top it up every year with 4 year that goes into a cognac cask, either 1 year or 2. If it goes in for 2, it's because it's the second use of that cognac cask once we got it. And that's what tops it off every year. So it changes every year. And it just gets more and more integrated and gets more and more interesting. And this was the idea all behind this. We were going to pay homage to cognac by doing this. So then we went to our finance people and said, here's what we need. And they're like, well, what's the price? And I'm like, I don't really want to tell you what the price is. And they're like, no, like, what's this going to cost to do this? And when can we sell it? I'm like, well, one, it's going to take 2.5 years to fill this thing, because we don't have the volume to do this. So we're going to do series of these things. So it'll take 2.5 years. So it's going to sit here. Is what does this Foeder thing cost? I go, 10,000, and then I started talking fast. Like he said, $10,000. I'm like, yeah, like, but remember, we're going to use this for a long time and it's already 50 years old. That didn't help at all. We're buying a used thing 50 years old and I pay $10,000 for it. I'm like, yeah, doesn't that sound good? It's fun. Oh, and by the way, we need 35 200, 300, 400 liter new cognac or freshly dumped cognac cask too. That's another 10,000. So that's how we started the project, 20,000. And then we found that it cost 10,000 to get it here. So we didn't tell him that until the invoice came in. So this is our story around this, because it isn't just, hey, we finished this in cognac cask. No. 3-step process. We did that. We let it integrate. We got integration. Then we combined it. We added series of these things. That's sort of the Solera, or part of the Solera. And then we systematically take it down, refill it, take it down, refill it. So it cycles. So now I've talked for so much. Let's taste it.
I already tasted it because I just couldn't wait. It's like liquid sunshine.
I love that. It's so good, right? You can smell it. It's on the nose for sure. It's definitely mid-panel, and it finishes. Has that French oak kind of tannic structure, texture. It's divine. It's a very good. This is not just, hey, a finished bourbon, finished 4-grain bourbon. This is a whole thing unto itself. Took us a long, like I said, took a long time to get here. This is issue 5. Issue 6 is this fall, and we only harvest it in August, and it goes for sale in October. We only do 400. Last year we only did 300 6-pack cases of it, and there's not very many left at the distributor. But more so, when I'm in the market, I've been out there all day. Someone asks about it, I just take the bottle down, I sign it, and I write "Divine" on the front of it. And I'm like, do not take this down when your friends come over and pour them a big one. This has got to have some respect. This is for after dinner. You only get one. And so, treat it that way. And let them know that you're treating it that way. So, pretty good story though, right? Kind of interesting. Different, for sure. Oh, and then I can tell you this other story where the people that protect the DOC on Cognac sent us a cease and desist on this. So we had a fight with them. Not really a fight, but we had to change the wording on the front. And I'm like, we're paying homage to this. We're not trying to steal Cognac's thunder here. But we came to an agreement. So pretty funny. And that's this one. So I don't know if I brought it up. Nope.
It's so interesting to see. Yeah, it's the purple label. Yeah,
It's the
beautiful.
purple, but you can see the Foeder in the backyard.
Oh, that's what it is. Nice.
Yeah.
Beautiful, like violet purple. It's so interesting looking at the comments. Chris and Jeff made that they both said I love it, but from completely contrasting perspectives. It's so interesting. Chris's point of view was that like it's finished enough to where there's flavor there. And
Yeah.
then Jeff said not normally a fan of finished bourbons, but this is pretty jazzy. So like finished enough to where there's flavor, but not too much where it's overpowering, you know?
I love those comments because that's the goal. It's not to have one dominate the other. Like I said, the first time we did it 6 months, it's like bourbon with a float. Not good enough. Next time, integration. This has got something for everybody. Something for everybody in it. And again, as an after dinner or something like that, a single pour evening, this is elegance. This is not one to rush to kill the bottle. And as it oxidizes, and as long as it doesn't get too low, but as it oxidizes and stuff, it'll pop some of the grape sweetness in it. So now we're going to move on to number 3, which I've reordered. And this, I said earlier, is my summer favorite. Red label. The camera do that? Oh, it's the glare off the bonded Centennial straight wheat whiskey. How many people have had 100% wheat whiskey? Besides this one, though. Because the only one I had before this was made by like Low Gap, and it was made from malt or wheat malt extract. It wasn't made from grain. Because I don't see a lot of them. Like Bernheim is not 100%. It's like 54%. It's got corn and all this kind of things. So there aren't many 100% wheat whiskeys. You probably have to go to craft to get it. And then now you got to talk about recipe here. Wheat is close to barley in its diastic power, so its ability to convert starch to sugar. So you could use less wheat malt in this. We use 50% wheat malt, 50% raw. And we do that because the malt is homogenized sweetness, and then all the cool, funky, weird stuff comes from the raw. This varietal is only grown in Colorado. Again, spring white wheat, gooey, stresses out the yeast, their motility goes down, they give off a whole bunch of stuff. I'm not going to talk much about this. This is just so good. And it's great. Like, I'm sure many of you don't, maybe you don't even want like adding water. I like to add water to almost everything, but this is something I would drink on ice. And that's why it's my order when I go into our sanctuary. Um, it's so rich. Cheers.
Alan, one of the things that I've been really impressed with is you use malted wheat and you use a lot of it, but you don't, try and I don't want to say shortcutting by using malted barley because that's not what I mean, but malting wheat is a lot doing it with malted wheat is tougher than malted barley, but I think it makes a difference.
I agree. I think it adds some texture. That's a word I'm going to use a lot tonight. It's my new word. I don't know where I got it from. I just use it. But it does add that because it's it's definitely different because we made straight 100% malted wheat whiskey too. That's somewhere in the racks back there. So, but like when we talked about the bourbon, remember sweetness, penny metallic bite, then orange. I would say cardamom. I'd say black tea, like English breakfast, or again, originally from Canada. So, red rose, orange pekoe tea. Like it has all those kind of elements to it. There's some doughiness to it, to its graininess. So it isn't, in a way, it's like cinnamon buns that haven't been baked. And it mostly comes through the olfactory when that happens. And then I don't need you to believe me on what I get in this, but I get sarsaparilla root beer in the finish and not sweetened, but like the astringentness of that. And I love birch beer, root beer. Like I love that stuff. So I know what that tastes like. This is without the cane sugar, which is probably more healthy. This is probably healthier than a Boylan's root beer. But the nose is great. It's grassy. This is a
This one
great
will
whiskey.
this one will always have a special place in my heart because this was really the first wheat whiskey that I had, and it got me turned on to the category. So it's had me seeking it out. And you're right, it not a lot of people are doing it. I suspect that it's hard to ferment and hard to work with. So
Not as hard as rye, but it gives us a lot, and it does have some vintage to it. TTB won't let us say that, but year to year, there's some differences. But there's some nice grassy, like stringent, tannic notes. And so, as I said earlier, team not as big a fan of this as I was at the beginning. And first time we put it out, I think it was 3 years old, and she was fire. Like, I mean, fire. Like great, like whiskey burn. And it was then that was at 100 proof still. And we're like, okay, we got it to 4 years. We made it a bonded. They're still like, Al, really? I'm like, dude, this thing, it's wheat. It's gonna take a while, but let's kind of lean into what this can be. And it is so different. And we all still want to find something that is pleasant and different. It's not for every day, but it's something that's folks like yourself. I know you're into this. Like you're into something that's, you're not just drinking Jack Daniels, right? So this is like one of these things to put on the shelf that you pull down and, hey, let's try this again. And again, when it gets down to half, you should probably get it killed pretty quick within, 30 days or so. But if I open a bottle of this, it ain't gonna last a week. So it's one of my favorite. And this time of year, this is the one that I think it tastes even more interesting when you put ice in it. And the reason is those kind of rough sweetness, rough tannins, when you put it on ice, they kind of sand off and they become creamy. So sometimes I'll tell someone like, "Oh, we want at the sanctuary. Well, you want to try something weird?" He's like, "Yeah, well, okay. We're gonna try wheat whiskey on ice, and we're gonna put a cherry in it. It's already a cocktail. Orange, cherry notes come through from the cherry, and there's some cherry notes in this too as it gets older. These are all 7.5-year-old barrels, and these are all spring barrels, and that matters because in the bonded thing, it just means that they saw summer sooner, and so they got a lot of the barrel into the whiskey. We generally only made wheat whiskey in the summer period, so almost all of our wheat whiskeys are. So comments, thoughts? Hate it, love it, don't want to polish spoons with it or something like that,
Oh, I wouldn't waste it on a spoon. I'm gonna drink the whole bottle myself.
Yeah, that's what I wanted to hear.
I love the root beer note. I definitely get that. I'm not as familiar with bark beer and birch beer, but I could see those flavors coming through. But that malty note somewhere in the middle is spectacular. And I bet this would be fantastic if it was on a cube and you just watch the changes as you sip through it. I bet that is
Yes.
amazing.
Yes, and it does change different than the bourbon or rye on a cube. And we're all non-chill filtered. So I always like to put this in as the notice is like, what happens if you put it on ice? At the beginning, the oils stick to the ice. So you strip flavor, you brighten the whiskey, but as the ice melts down and that initial reaction, it gets to some normalized temperature, then the oils come back off. And then you'll get those flavors. So the flavor continuum or roller coaster changes if you put it on ice. But I always say you put this on ice, it tastes like a creamsicle to me. And it's a beautiful whiskey. One of the whiskeys I'm most proud of is this whiskey right here.
I'm in.
I I thought really quick that I'm a good old Southern boy, and we used to have like Sprite bunt cakes that people would make. It's kind of a little Southern staple. And I'm tasting this, and it's like, first off, I'm a huge wheat whiskey fan, and this is incredible. And I was like, oh my God, this is like if somebody had substituted Dr. Pepper into a Sprite cake. This is exactly what I imagined that would taste like. It's pretty damn wonderful, man. Thank you very much.
Thank you guys. Um, Another thing about it is we get a lot of people like when they come taste it. So I'll roll back from that. In the market, if I do an in-store at like Argonaut or Total Wine or something like that, and they have it, they carry it. And I'll go and I'll look, and they have like four of like they bought a 6-pack probably in the thing. And there's four. And they're like, oh yeah. I'm like, well, we don't, get a lot of comments on this. I'm like, we're gonna sell all four of those in the next 2 hours. They're like, no, no, people aren't gonna. I'm like, no, they haven't tasted it. They have no idea what it is. It is not a wheat bourbon. And we keep telling them that, and they're like, oh well, no, but everyone, it's a wheat. No, it's just wheat. And there's so little of this out there that they don't even keep it with other parts of our brand. It's somewhere over with American whiskey or something like that. We're like, no, like just leave it up here. And then we start pouring for people. It's one of the four or whatever we pour. And people are like, what is this? I'm like, right? And those four bottles are gone within the first hour. And in every place we do it in store, that's what happens. And I love that because it means that we have something that's different, and we're opening doors to folks that are doing this not because they think or they want to characterize a bourbon in this narrow definition of what bourbon should taste like because it's all Kentucky. That we run into that with the 4-grain. Rye, no one knows what rye is supposed to taste like, so we don't have that problem. It's like, do they like it or do they not? This is one of those ones where, do you like the taste or do you not? If you like it, go with it. Don't let the definition of the categories define what you like. And that happens so often. Okay, the next one. All right. I got to stretch. This is my favorite project that we've ever done because I love the wheat whiskey, as you can see. But a couple years ago, because we were so proud of ourselves for finishing whiskeys, and we had learned a lot about that, we were now going to move into, well, what if we cross-married some of our categories? that we make. And they're like, oh, Al, like we did the verticals. This is an origins project. So this is one of our things at the end of the year. These are $100 plus bottles. And they usually have very older whiskey in it. And we did a vertical at the beginning called Intention, which is like 11-year down to 5-year bourbon. And we got to showcase what the vertical can show you. And then we did it with rye, which was way, way harder than bourbon. Rye is so weird to try to blend, even if you made it all yourself. And then we're like, well, they're like, we're gonna do it with wheat. I'm like, no, I want to do something where we take the 4-grain, which is our core kind of base, and I want to boost that middle note. I'm like, well, we don't, the wheat whiskey, like, no, no, no. I'm like, yeah, well, this is what we're gonna do. We got some skills in vertically blending the bourbon and the rye. And like those projects, like they take months and months and months. You have to go through and pick the barrels and then like go through these titrations and this one, and then how can we make it like this? And so it takes us a lot of time. This one didn't take as much time. And we tested it out on one of our retail partners, like 6 months in front of it. So there is a super weeder junior out there. And Argonaut did it, and they came in and embraced the process. So the process took for them 5 hours. They first had to like figure out a vertical, like theirs was, 4 or 5 barrels. So they had to create a barrel of vertical for wheat, and then they had to do it for the bourbon. The bourbon they were really good at. Now, this is what we like. The wheat whiskey was tough. So they picked a ratio of 65-35. 65% 4-grain with some differences in age. And then the wheat was there's like 2 types. There's a 6-year-old, then maybe an 8-year-old. That's what they had to use. Multiple barrels of each. And they got into it and like, this is going to be the best. These ones are 2 best. They put them together and like, oh, we don't like this. I'm like, yeah, this is what blending's all about. And then I'll go, okay, well, why don't you blend it with the one you hated? I'm like, all right. Hated this wheat whiskey, blend it. Oh my God. Are those angels? It's so weird to watch the process, and they really engaged in it. So we learned from them doing it, and they bought a couple barrels of this thing, high proof. They went out with high proof, and it did really well because it was interesting. Just like the wheat whiskey, it was very interesting. So now we knew that there's an audience for this. So we went down the rabbit hole. So let me read to you off the back of and we went with a 70-30. So we kept it a little bit more approachable in the 4-grain and not as my team would say, weirdness of wheat whiskey. So we did 6, 8, 10, like 10 or 12 barrels between 5 and 12 years. 31% of the blend is over 8 years. A lot of that's like, so on the wheat whiskey, it was like 37%, and then it's a little bit less than that for the bourbon. And then another 20% was in the 6 to 8 year range, and then under half was going to be in the 5-year range to make sure it still had brightness and fruitiness, and those were all in the 4-grain. So this has in a combined mash bill, and I would say this to you too. If we put all this stuff together in this mash bill, it would not taste like this. No chance. So the combined amount of wheat in this is 44%. So it's pretty high. And then like corn is going to be under 50%. And so this is one of the most unique whiskeys we ever put out. It won like the most innovative thing from Forbes or something last year when we put it out, and it's gone. Well, except for the 5 bottles I have over there that have like label problems. But we only did 1,000 bottles of this. So I want you to lean into this. And this one, it's it's 121 proof. So it's not like what we've just had. We've had 95, 100 right now. This is 121. You may not even notice that. And this one on an ice cube is it's like Disney World roller coaster after roller coaster because as it changes at different temperatures and a different water component, like leakage into it or you know mellowing it, um, different aspects come out. It's the coolest whiskey, coolest fucking thing we've ever done.
This is fantastic. It's
So
like,
nice, right?
yeah, I was just like, and then you said it was gone, and I'm like, no. I I got notes of like creme brulee, cream and cherries, and butter tarts. I mean, it's got such a buttery mouthfeel. And I'm like, I think I'm going to be desolate that it's not available.
We got to make it again. This is what I told
Yeah.
them.
Oh, please do.
So this year, this project is going to be wheat whiskey that's, I think, 8 to 10 years old, put into barrel 4 grain barrels that we gave to the honey farm, and then they gave them back to us. So it's going to be like wheat on honey or honey on wheat. That's the project this year. We started it about 2 months ago. God, I hope it turns out. But the honey in you imagine you dropped a little bit of honey in this. Oh my God.
Yeah, it would be so awesome.
But you can feel the vertical of the two, right? It's not just oh there's like 3 layers. No, there's like 12 layers. And they all change. Again, if you add water, they just keep changing. This is another favorite of mine, but this is they don't like the pour. We still have some at the sanctuary, but they're like, "Al, this is for the guests, and you're not paying for this." I'm like, "I know, it's the best." Thoughts?
Oh, well, Alan, I visited the sanctuary in January or February, and they poured this for me, and I was just like, "Yep, give me a bottle, no questions."
Anything like it? Can you compare it to anything that you've had? Would you say, like grade the whiskey quality?
Okay, for me, first off, I'm a whore for overproof whiskeys. So I was glad to see this, and I encourage you to do more of those in the future. But on taste level, I mean, I literally got if you took the cereal milk from like Honey Smacks when I was a child and corn pops and blended them together and in a pot and took a whole handful of my grandmother's Werther's originals butterscotch candy she kept in her purse and toss that shit in and distill it up to proof. It's kind of about what I'm getting right here, and it's making me very nostalgic for my youth, which is kind of what I want every whiskey to do. So yeah, fucking crushed it, Alan. Thanks, man.
Yes. I'm telling the team this too. Okay, I'm gonna write some of that down. So, and then yeah, this is what it looks like. I think we put it up, but like it has all the detail on the back. So it shows you in the 3 categories, 8 to 12, 6 to 8, 5 year plus. It tells you the barrel numbers that we used on both the 4 grain and then on the 100% wheat. So full disclosure on the percentages and which barrels we used, which a lot of people really like, and I like it too because it's just shows the clarity and consistency of what we want to put out there. We're not there's no tricks in this. It's just it's a journey that you're joining us on. and this is one of the like, this is the favorite project every year of the team. And we last year, this was actually 2 years ago. So I think it just there might be some bottles left at the sanctuary. I'd have to check, but I don't think so. Last year we did malt. We did vertical malt, used barrels, new barrels, malt made with smoked malt, different malt recipes because the farm can modify the grain, right? So you have 2 row base malt, right? Or you could have like Chinook. Or no. You wouldn't do that. You would do. There's some Abbey in some of them. There's some Caramel 60. Then there's some malt that they burned our used wet bourbon barrels to create the smoke to smoke the malt. and that's in that version or last year's version. So these are all pretty inventive, and I'm like, I'll full disclosure, our malt whiskey is great, but I don't like it's not my thing. It's one of our head distiller really likes it. I'm just not. It doesn't do it for me. Like I just haven't got there yet. Maybe I'm just regressed on my journey, but I'm still more rye. Wheat is kind of the newest thing for me.
How does the because you have you have some of the 2024 version
Yeah,
of this on the site. How does that compare?
that is it.
That's this? Okay, so it is available. There are some bottles because it's on the site. It says add to cart.
Does it?
Yes.
So then it might be in California then. It's I don't
It's on
live
your
with the
site.
no, but our fulfillment's out of California.
Okay, so
We would
we
need
can't
another
order it
2 hours
from
for me to
you.
explain how whacked this whole thing about internet buying is, because it's ridiculous. So we had a cease and desist from the state, uh, um, like alcohol enforcement people, and we don't even do this, right? Like we sell it to a fulfillment partner. We sell to the distributor, who then sells it to the fulfillment partner, who then fulfills the orders through our website. Because we're not allowed to do that
Right.
in
Okay.
in our environment. We're not allowed to sell direct. So we have to go through these layers, and we make virtually no money on this,
So
but we have it available.
if you buy it off the site from here, like in California, you can get the bottle, but it just goes through a number of people.
Now, anything you order off of our website today gets fulfilled out of somewhere outside of LA.
Right, but we can still, but if you order it off your site, we can still get it eventually.
Well, they have if it's on and it says it's available, it's at their location. It's not out here. We don't send it to them. We send like a
Okay,
half a pallet to them, and
right,
they have
but
an inventory. And then if it's still available on that site, then
but
giddy
if
up.
it's available on your site where it says you can shop or whatever, and I put it in a cart and
Yeah,
I pay for it, it'll eventually show up on my doorstep. Yes.
I like the term you use eventually. Yeah, because we don't have a lot of confidence in this. We use
Well, I don't
same
want to
as
spend
Caviar
135
now.
bucks. I don't want to spend 135 bucks and never get a bottle. But if I order it
No,
and
you
pay,
will get it if they say it's available and they're going to
okay.
ship it to you. It might take 2 weeks, but it'll get to you.
Yeah, it's I don't have the absolute what is it the next day Amazon Prime thing that everyone had in COVID where they had to have it within like 6 hours or something like that or they would go nuts. Because this is good enough that it's like I was sad when I tasted it and you said that there weren't any bottles except for the screwed up label ones in your
Yeah,
office.
they're right over here.
And then I went and checked the website and I went like, well, wait a minute, and so I wasn't sure if it was a different bottle, but if it's this bottle, then
This is it. This is the only time we ever made it. So if it's available through online, I'm not aware of that because
okay,
I didn't
perfect.
ship it to online.
Okay.
And I know how many four-letter words are used when they describe our experience with this online shopping thing. We are going to find a better outlet or vendor, but looks like the feds are looking at these things pretty
I don't care
closely.
if it takes a couple of weeks or something like that, as long as it
Do
eventually
it
shows
soon
up.
before the feds roll in and decide they don't want to do this.
Okay.
But yeah, if it's there, you should get it. Like there's nothing like it.
And
It's
just like
so good.
I don't know who is it that is it Jeff Carpenter? You and I are like kindred spirits because I am like a high proof whore. Any of his I have another bottle or two of some of the stuff he made were cask strength and especially at the tasting. And so it was like this is good. Oh, you make that in cask strength? Oh, I'm getting the cask strength. So
So I can talk to that too, because our cast strength of the bourbon and the rye are different than a lot of folks as well. We don't make a cast strength batch. We find the barrels we want for the batch and we put them in the tank, let them get to go because individual barrels, then they become a community in the tank. And then to the extent that we want to pull off a pallet or two of cast strength, we pull it off the batch. So
oh
it has the same riches. So when you compare it to the 95 proof one, you can take that journey. We are consciously trying to keep stuff 100 proof, 99. We have like some stuff now that's available here that's 4 to 5 years old, $40 a bottle for cocktails and stuff. So, but it's 90 proof, and then up to 100 is kind of where we're to try to keep the price down in this backdrop of our economy and everything like that, because the cask strength stuff is materially more expensive. And again, this is finance more than me, but like if I'm at a Total, I use Total because we go there a lot, but like, and we're like showing both, and they're like, oh, like this. I'm like, well, Total has like 49.99 for the flagship and 84 for the cask strength. And I'm like, I wouldn't pay that money to trade up. But there's a discontinuity in the pricing because of a bunch of stuff. And then you get people that who do the single barrels and do the cask strength, and the prices come in, and now they're 80, and instead of being 63 or something, then I don't know. It's I've gone to like 75 stores in the last 4 months. So I have a lot of views on pricing, and then what's value, I think where I've landed, and like what I think is value, what is not. So we're definitely going through things that I think have high value. And this one, even at this high proof, and it's high price, I still think this is value. So it's unique, and yeah, I don't feel ashamed or embarrassed about the price tag on it. In fact, I think it could be more. But but we're gonna go into the rye next. We're gonna have this discussion again on the last one, which is a bonded rye that we just churned. Now, how do I say this? Um, Bonded rye for us has been 6 and 7 for a few years, and it's won the World Whiskey Award and Whiskey Magazine twice for the best whiskey in the world in the rye category. We're going to enter this one, and the last one we're going to try today, this fall. There won't be any left by this fall. This is how well it's going with this. And I'm going to be arrogant. It is a high probability of winning the award again. It's so divine. But we're going to start with the flagship, which we convert more people to rye with this whiskey than it's so fun to watch. Oh, I don't like rye. Oh, well, it's in the tasting threesome here that you're going to get. You're going to try it. So I don't really, no offense to you, but I don't care if you don't like rye. You're going to try this because you don't really know what rye tastes like. It's not like bourbon. The bell curve isn't tight. It's very wide. And there are a lot of things here that allow you to decide whether you like it, not let the industry standard of it tell you what you're supposed to like. So this is it. This is 100% rye whiskey, SLV rye. Again, mash bill, 50% malted, 50% raw. Now, I'll give you some inside baseball on this. When we start making this again, we're going to try to change that recipe. And we're going to lower the malt content on it, not for cost, but because do you know what? Like, like you bake a potato and you eat that potato, it has a high like starch hit, right? So I got a diabetes monitor and all this stuff. Like I will get a huge hit from this, right? Like my blood sugar will shoot up. But if you take that same potato and cut it up in the morning and fry it up again, most of that starch converts to like really fiber. And so the starch hit on it is non-existent. It becomes resistant starch. This is all, and I don't think I'm a chemist and all this kind of, I don't know, but this is iterations over the last few years of us trying to understand why the yield in our rye when we make it has gone down. And the only thing we can kind of drive back to is when you malt it, it's like it's like rebaking the baked potato. So you've turned some of the starch into resistant starch. So it's non-fermentable now. It still adds flavor and does all the things, but it crushes our yield. So in bourbon, a batch is like we get 1.25 barrels per 500 gallon, liquid batch. In rye, it used to be 1 to 1, and now it's less than 1. And we see it because the sugar doesn't drop after 4 days; it just stays stable. But it isn't. It's non-fermentable sugar. So we're going to change this in the future. But for now, this is a 50-50 malted raw batch. It's divine. All the barrels are 5 to 6 years old. This is our sweet spot. We love the sweet spot. When we get above that, we get in, start to get weird. And it's like I said earlier in our cornerstone thing in 2023, we had a really hard time vertically blending the rye. It likes to be what it likes to be. So try this. Again, we convert more people to rye in this whiskey than you can imagine. So what is rye versus bourbon, right? Salty, more floral for sure. And nosing it, God, it's like a flower garden. So floral has salt. When it comes off the still and it's clear spirit, it tastes like mezcal sometimes. It tastes like mezcal with juicy fruit gum in it. That's what it tastes like. Put in the barrel, then you get these reactions. So get floral, salty, peppery, but not the peppery you might be used to in rye that's kind of up front and punches you a bit. This is very subtle. It's like serrano pepper. It's very vegetative and it's radiant. It'll keep radiating in your mouth. But a second glass, if you do this cast strength, I know that's what we didn't do the cast strength. The cast strength one, I describe as this. You have one glass, and again, it's the same as this, it's just higher proof. 118 usually is where it falls out in. First glass, you sort of like, that's good. Relaxing a bit, and then, yeah, can feel that. Then the heat comes into the cheeks. I don't get this off the bourbon, just in the rye. All of a sudden, the cheeks get a little rosy. Yeah, and then you're almost done the first glass, and then your heart's going rye, 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 rye. It's in your heartbeat. And then by the second glass, it's like in Spider-Man with the symbiote that gets on him. It's like in you now. It's all over you, and it's taking you over. That's how our rye like affects you. It's just different. It kind of takes over, and it's a unique experience, I think, and it is beautiful. It becomes part of you very quickly. But you get that. You get the anise. There's some mint there. It's kind of lower in mint. When we get the next one, all of a sudden it changes a bit. But this is the base rye for our flagship. It's like really, it's vegetative, but it's also more like a Amaro or something, right? It has those kind of notes to it. It's sophisticated. It's not simple. It's not light. I wouldn't even say it's bright. I think it's just sort of a little chalky, maybe. You can get the wood tannins. It has the burn that you want with rye, but it's not unpleasant. Thoughts?
Yeah, your rye is one of my favorite ryes in the market for sure. I still have that limited edition one we tasted with you that came in the box. It was like an anniversary or something. I think you signed it for me. You signed the box. Every time I bring it out for people, they're blown away. They're like, "I've never heard of this. What is this? This is amazing." I'm like, yeah, it's my little flex that I can bring out.
Your Colorado flex. But that's Cornerstone. Yeah. And yes.
I really quickly, I carry this at my restaurant. I've carried it for years. But I think as descriptive as I can be, you kind of nailed it with oh look, it's black tea with juicy fruit. I mean, the juicy fruit reference was, I'm like, well, holy shit. That's usually that's how I describe things. And it's the way I sell to people, at least when they come in, it's not a punch you in your mouth rye. It's not a, oh look, here's a pepper spice that you're used to. Like, aha, I'm drinking a, Canadian or Northeast, rye.
No.
This is it's a very subtle floral kind of thing, and yeah, I mean it's pretty delightful, and I really appreciate the juicy fruit reference because I have
Yeah.
been looking for that as a way to describe it for like 2 years, and I'm glad you could help me with it. So thanks, man. I appreciate that.
Well, so with all that we've tried, I'll give you another one that comes through to me, and all my team hates it when I bring this up, especially when we're doing white spirit, like when the clear stuff. I'm like, I think I taste curry,
Right?
and it's kind of there. It's kind of there, but I think it has more to do. If we hadn't had these other ones, I think it wouldn't present like it does right now. But
Yeah, it does.
I get curry, like maybe a Madras curry. It's so good though, so good.
Fun
And I'll tell
fact.
you, in Colorado right now, in the last 3 months, our rye sales of this product have gone up 40%. When we go to a store and we're trying to keep it in stock, and like you only have one bottle left, and like yeah, we're reorder. I'm like, well, we do it today because we don't want to be out of stock. But it has taken off again. We had that big surge a few years ago, and then it's come off that. I think the rye thing's coming back. I think people have too many bottles of bourbon on their back bar, and they're like kind of fatigued by it, and they're moving back to rye. I'm actually, that's a question, I guess, more than a statement. What do you all think about that?
I agree, and I think rye is a good um, entryway for malt drinkers to get into American spirits,
Oh,
right?
I
Because
like
the
that statement.
florality of rye kind of
Yeah,
hits right at home, versus bourbon tends to be very oaky and very corn forward. Rye, myself, my palate leans a little more malt forward, and so for me, it's malt rye bourbon. So yeah, I think there's definitely a trend right now for rye to be hot.
Vadim, like that's so cool for you to say that because we get people, there's couples that come into tours and they do all this stuff and they're like, oh no, I only like scotch. I don't want to drink it. Oh, why don't you try the rye? And that wins. So your taxonomy there and your hierarchy, dead on, spot on.
Um, I am the opposite completely. I am a bourbon rye malt guy. As I
That's
as I
me.
walk down, and you know, working in the restaurant business for 25 years and still there, I have seen that there was definitely that big uptick in bourbon. I mean, you were talking about your 700 bottles. I mean, Vadim's been to my garage. I've got about 800 in mine. Um,
What's your address again? Hold
yeah,
on.
no, anytime you're in town, pal, you just come on by. But it has the bourbon is kind of stopped with
Yes.
people, especially with the younger generation. Although they're drinking less, as Gen Z, they're drinking less. They're like, okay, well, less bourbon. What's next? Well, we're scooting into rye. So instead of, oh, give me, this bourbon old fashioned, you're looking at them making classic cocktails, but they're asking for rye instead. There has been a big uptick, at least where I'm sitting in the past 2 years, 18 months, with a decline in bourbon with the younger generation and more of an uptick. And let's go to rye and we want it to be rye.
Don't
So
you think it fits their generation better though too? Like they get to choose what defines them.
I think it kind of does. Yeah.
Yeah. Because rye tastes so different if it's made upstate New York, if it's made Minnesota, Minnesota rye is really interesting. And then here, and then it's so different everywhere. And like I have a hard time finding a Kentucky, big brand rye that I can stomach. Maybe Old Forester is the only one I can stomach.
Yeah.
The rest are like, nah, and it still has corn in it. Like, and I'm because they know corn, and that's what they're really good at. But I think there's a lot that maybe we're moving back to something maybe 7 years ago where it was more I don't know, just simpler, and everyone just was enjoying it rather than collecting it and shining it or just dusting it on the shelf. Like, how many bottles of Blanton's do you need? Like, good God, is it that good?
No, it's
Screw
no
that.
Bland's is not to answer the question. And number two, I still haven't found the correct answer. I got 800 here. I mean, I got to figure something out.
Yeah, no, you absolutely do. Our
But how
favorite
many
thing,
bottles do you want? How many bottles do you want to buy to sit on the shelf and look at?
yeah,
I mean, to not
you know
crack it
where,
open and drink it is a travesty,
If it, yeah, Vadim can be the person here, as the thing is, every one of my bottles is just about opened.
right?
It is a I am a arbiter of the neighborhood. Everybody swings by the garage if it's open. I pop everything, I drink it, and it's like a hey, try it, try it. My only rule is don't open a bottle, don't finish a bottle. But out of the 800 bottles here, I'd venture 550 of them are opened up.
yes, yeah,
So that's the way it's going to be. I mean, I'm never going to get through half these things, but just
no,
everybody else should.
we just moved, and like our kids left. We had to get out of our house. We had much smaller, and then like I thought I got down to about 100 bottles, of which probably like 70 were Scotch and they were open. So
Yeah.
I just took all those and brought them to the office and sent email out to everyone from the tasting room. Hey, come take all this and drink it. And it was gone in, I don't know, 3 hours. And so I'm like, oh, well, that's good. And then I'm like, I'm good. I'm packed this up and I'm feeling pretty good. And then my wife goes, hey, have you gone underneath the stairs? I'm like, what do you mean? She's like, uh,
Yeah.
you should go look underneath the stairs. And this is the part where we're moving the stuff out, not the movers, and they won't take alcohol. So there's 120 cases of laws underneath the stairs.
Jesus, man.
And so I had to carry that up. I'm not in that good a shape. Big surprise. And like I fell down the stairs or fell up the stairs twice. And then I'm like, this took me forever. So I have a storage unit. This is like ready for the apocalypse where it's got guns and it's got whiskey in it. um, yeah, but you forget about all those things you buy.
Yep.
So about a year and a half ago, I said I'm not buying more. I don't need more here, and I'm killing all these bottles. So if I buy it and opens, I'm not opening, I'm not buying more until we kill stuff, and that's really hard for me because I'm going to all these stores and I want to know about their store pick and I want to know about what they're trying and then what is cool, and that is infected me 3 months ago. And like I said, I had Green River sitting here. I had a single barrel Green River. I never tasted anything like that. And like, remember, tasted all these things just like you all. And it just got me. So now I'm addicted to Green River weeded 90 proof.
Mm-hmm.
I have been for, I'm like 8 or 9 bottles in. But it'll go away, I know.
Try,
But
try
it's
their cast strength. It's really, really good.
the full proof fooled me because I bought a wrong one and I drank it like it was 90 one night watching hockey. And I'm like, I'm kind of lit. And I look and I'm like, that's 120. Like, oh my God. Like, so it wasn't a good morning, but yeah, like you go through phases in all this, right? And what you like and what you don't like. And so the last one we're gonna try, I don't know. I hope you're on board with me at this because I like I said earlier, our bourbon as it gets older gets heavy, woody, like really aggressive because we have barometric pressure swings here that aren't like they go like this all day long. I don't mean like during the week. I mean all day long. So our barrels pump like a heart, kind of, right? Maybe an arrhythmic heart, but like they get a lot out of that wood, like a lot. So I'm like, oh God. And then when we did the Cornerstone project and the vertical and the rye, some of the older ones were like, holy shit, these are not woody at all. We're like, what? Like these are, 11-year-old rye barrels. And like, why are they not like the six, where the six is really tannin and forward and woody? And so we came up with 30 some barrels that were all 10 plus years old at the end of last year. And we're like, huh, what's going on here? Take a sip before I finish this because it Again, I smell it like it's you had 5 to 6 year old. This is 10. It's not even you would say this is not even coming from the same place.
It's so good to have Amanda back. She reminded me that I forgot to take a photo, but as you sip and enjoy that, please do not feel rushed. Give it the respect and due it deserves. Uh, Turn on your camera. Join us back in the land of where we can see your beautiful face. And I want to say cheers. Cheers to Alan and to the group for joining us tonight. I'm going to raise this K&L pick, speaking of barrel picks. And yeah, smile to the camera. Got it. Yeah, continue to enjoy that. And then the poll is coming in just a minute after you've had enough time to understand how you feel about this one.
So this is the same rock. Actually, hold on. No, that's not entirely true. At the beginning, we made bourbon, 4 grain bourbon, adding to that fabric of American whiskey. Next, rye, not 95.5, not the shitty Canadian rye that you have that you don't even know what's in that. This is American rye made with flavorful grains. First batch, malt not so good. Um, Years ago, so we had enough yield on the first few batches to fill like half a barrel. I think our guys just went and got a 30-gallon barrel and put it in that, and the yield was terrible, terrible. Like no conversion. We just wasted thousands of dollars on this. And then, okay, well, let's go figure it out. So we got the farmers in, let's figure it all out. And they're like, okay. Going 50-50. Malted, raw. First kind of malt, though, that they've ever made. They never really malted rye before. Rye, again, has like the least diastic power. Barley, 5x its weight. Wheat, 5x its weight. Barley, maybe one, maybe. Um, So that wasn't good enough. Couple iterations of this. That stuff we drank here internally. It was like 160 proof or something. It was not good rye. Um, and it was in small barrels because we didn't have enough. And so we got to go back to the drawing board in this. So let the farm work on malting rye. They got it up to 2x. And then, okay, that's good. That's what we need. Something over 2x. But this that you're sipping on is a 90, it's actually, no, it's 47.5, 5% scarlet barley. So maybe that's it. I don't know until we get to next year where you're going to get a 12-year-old because it's the same barrels. We cut these barrels in half and said, these barrels going this year, we're saving the other ones because of where they were made. There'll be a 12-year-old this time next year. So, or actually early in 27. Excuse me. So we stepped up here from a flagship 5 to 6, and our bonded has been for 2 years, maybe more than that, maybe 3, a 7-year-old, which again won the World Whiskey Awards, World Best Rye, and then this year we're like, well, we can just make it 10, and then the finance people are like, great, we can check. I go, no, it's the same price. Look at the backdrop. So we have retailers here in Colorado, like, what do you mean? Like, well, when you order the rye next time, it's going to come in, it's going to be a 10-year. Like, well, what's that price going to be? Same price. So this is on the shelf here in Colorado at $79.99. It's a 10-year rye. Again, 47.5, 47.55. Strange. As it gets older, it gets lighter bodied, brighter. This is the part that drives me crazy. Like, how does this get brighter? But then I'm like, well, from 5 to 6 to 7, it got brighter as well. And that's with 100% rye. So there's something that we don't know about this that we can't quite figure out. But this is angel stuff. It's so delicate on the tongue. It has more mint than the 5 to 6. Has good anise. It's super salty, caramelly kind of thing. The nose is like, oh my God, I'm doing this. I gotta go home and maybe I'll get some kisses if I smell like this. But it's like it's got the perfume part of this is like so great. And I think we only made 298 cases, 6-pack cases of this. Oh my God, so good. Thoughts?
Uh, it's great. It's more desserty than the previous rye. I mean, it's sexy, man. It's sexy as fuck. I mean, can you say
Yeah.
that about a 10-year-old? It's sexy as fuck. I mean, it's a really good. It's just tasty, long, lingering mouthfeel. Not too aggressive. It's desserty. It plays on all the right parts. It's really good, and the fact that at a $79 price point is
Crazy.
yeah, no, it's it's pretty nice.
Ran into someone tonight at Hazel's liquor store in Boulder. I'm like, hey, you've heard of laws? He's, yes, I'm here to get the rye, the 10-year. I'm like, oh, you had it? Because this is my 4th bottle. And you're like, oh, love you. Hug, 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 hug. But like we described, now my wife's not here. I can use this description. Like the rye is a different whole spirit. And it's so human. I don't know how to hear it. My humanities economics degrees are going to, it's so humanistic, right? Like rye to me versus bourbon is like, and Vadim's probably heard this one before, kissing the neck of your perfumed lover while you're dancing salsa. That's rye. Like it's salty, it's sweaty, it's passionate, it has, it's active, it's all these things that bourbon isn't. And it's like I said, it tastes like fun. Oh, the survey just came up.
Alan, do we have to make a trip to Colorado to get our hands on this stuff?
I think so. Um, Again, I'm just out there. I don't know some of the technicals, but I'll get it to Vadim about where it might. Like I know that the idea was this was going to be gone by the end of July here, given the response out of the gate. And most and the retailers too, like it's a time for the balance of value to shift to value. And we purposely went with again, our CFO. No, we're gonna charge more for this thing. No, we're not, man. It's not time to charge more. You want to charge more on the 12, like, hey, God bless you, and I won't, but this is not the time to do this. And to let that transfer from 7 to 10 occur when people have 7 on the shelf and they have 10, for me, you should buy both of them because that's our commerce. But it's cool to try them, or you don't even have to get the 7 bonded, just like the flagship to the 10. There's a lot of similarity, and then you get to kind of pick apart how certain things rise and other things mellow. The balance comes into play. These are all words that are important to me when I drink whiskeys, and we're at a time where I don't want it to be too complex for people. I want it to be like again balanced, mellow, and almost uplifting. Like I don't want you to think too much about this. I just want you to feel good. This is what this is. It's a great finish to this.
But Alan, there's good reasons to drink both. because it's
Yes,
different flavor profiles. And they're
yes,
both very enjoyable.
totally and utterly agree. If you want to go back and forth between the first one and the second last one and the wheat, and like if you go back and forth, like I said, the journey is sweet, penny metallic, orange, doughy, baking spice, nutty. We don't got the nutty tonight. We're not doing them all, but um, not by accident. And we just come up with that. That was nothing happens by accident around here. So for us, it was always been try to design something and try not to. We're not here to copy. And I hope you feel that way about every whiskey you try tonight. There aren't a lot that you can go, oh, this is like Stag, or this is like no, 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 no. It's definitely not like Green River, which I might have some of that before I go home. Um, they're just different, and I like different. So I'm not stuck in our own whiskeys, but as you can tell, first one, go to all the time. I'm only allowed to bring a case of that home a month. And then the wheat and super weeder. I'm definitely not allowed to bring that home. So I have to leave it here. And and then and the rye, it's really the flagship rye. I'm not allowed to drink the 10 either because that's for other people. I think I, I think these are all things said to me. Uh,
When do you throw the owner card, Alan?
Say it
Hey, there's a
again.
reason that when do you throw down the owner card? Hey, I'm the CEO, I'm the owner, I'm the boss. I get to do what I want.
Well, I'm not the C. I gave up the CEO thing late last year. I don't want to be the CEO. I want to go out and talk to people, and I want to go out and talk to retailers and build relationships. I don't want to deal with the business part of this because that part of it kind of sucks, and we'll get through it. But I'm like, I don't want to sit in meetings endlessly talking about, the capital structure. Or no, I'm done with that. I've already done that for a lot of years, and that's not why I did this. So those are other folks who get to do that. I get to go talk to people in the aisle while I sign bottles and ask them if they've had laws, and they say yes. Did you like it? Yes. I'm like, thank you. I'm Outlaws. I'm the founder. I love that. It's my favorite thing to do. But I had
Awesome.
one person spit at me like a venomous snake who was like, I hate laws. Da, 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 da. I'm like, holy shit. I'm like, I don't know what to do. I have to run for the exit. like, but I'm like, well, what the hell? I'm like, what do you mean? Well, I like this. Like, you like Stranahan's? That's malt whiskey. Ain't bourbon. So I'm like, okay, I'm out in this discussion. But you can help a lot of folks in the aisle even more than in in-store tasting, just talking to folks and understanding what they like or what they don't like. And versus like 5, 6 years ago during COVID and everyone wanted to stay away from everybody. Today, I'll tell you, like people want to talk to somebody again. And I'm not hard selling them on anything. I'm just like, tell me what you like. I'll tell you about this. Maybe it's something you want to try. And then, well, if that's not what you want to try, look, what can I get you? Like, what are you looking for? I set this couple up with 6 different whiskeys plus our, you know, cognac finish to finish. But like they're doing a whiskey tasting. They don't know anything about this. I'm like, oh, here's the thing. And I wrote them up a whole script. Here's 2 pages of whatever. Sent it to them over the here. This is what you do. Like that. That's soulful to me. And yeah, we need a lot more of that. And today, a lot more. So that's what I wanted to get back to. And we have plenty of people who can do business and finance and all this kind of stuff, but they can't do what I do. And I'm intimately invested and entwined in all these whiskeys from their manufacture to their blending to all these things. And that's my favorite part, has always been my favorite part. And it's the most fun.
That's beautiful. I was gonna say to Chris's question, I don't think you can pull the CEO card on your wife, and I'm guessing that's who's stopping you from bringing cases of stuff home.
Yeah, no, no, it ain't. Yeah, it's nobody here. It's my wife going, really? Are you gonna bring that here? I'm like, yeah. Well, we should be selling that to people that are going to enjoy this. You've already enjoyed it. You've had enough of it, I think is one of the terms used. You've already had enough of that. And like,
Tell
I
her we
get
said hello. Give her our best.
that. Yeah, so she's got more free time. The kids are gone. One's in Montana State and Bozeman, the other one's in Creighton Law School, and she's got a lot of free time to direct me, and I
Wait
need
until
it.
grandkids.
Not kidding, I need it.
Wait until grandkids.
Oh, I don't know. This generation is like not
You
into that
guys are in
either.
the you guys are
They
in
only
the
like buzz balls and beatbox, and they don't like kids. So that seems
when
to be the generational shift.
it was in our house it was a bit quiet and such before the grandkids showed up. Now I've got 8, 5, and 2.
Holy shit.
Yeah, and so we're busy because we see them like 4 or 5 times a week, and they're over at our house all the time. It's like, can we go to Gaga's house? And then it's just like the entire Saturday or Sunday. But it's awesome. It's awesome. So
That's what that's what we're hoping for, but we don't know. So one's in Bozeman, one's in Omaha.
we'll think good thoughts for you.
Thank you. Yeah, and I hope for my own self because I don't need as much direction as I'm getting.
I remember Amanda and Lori were trying to recruit her to be part of their redheaded sister thing. So she can do flamethrower spinners, right? Like I'll find her a hobby.
Fire sticks? Come
We'll teach
on.
you how to spin fire. It's fine. What? See this? There you go, like that.
Yeah, no problem.
Ooh.
We can teach her how to eat fire too, but not while you're drinking.
Yeah, not with castrated
Nothing high
whiskey.
proof, that's for sure.
Well, at least, yeah. Well, we're
So
planning on being in Denver September 11th and 12th and 13th, Amanda and I,
you
for my
better
birthday.
come to the sanctuary.
Well, we do have you on our list.
Okay.
Yeah,
Well, so send
12th
me an email, ALAN at lawswhiskeyhouse.com, and let me know you're coming.
at Laws.
Whiskeyhouse.com.
Okay, I got it.
So we only live, well, we just sold that house. I don't know. The place we're going to go to is 3 miles away. So
Well, yeah, we're planning on
not
going
far.
to Meow Wolf and Laws. Those were the
Oh,
two.
yeah. Meow Wolf
That's,
is
yeah,
super cool.
this will be my third one.
I
So.
don't know. I think it might be good to do the other way around.
Oh yeah, laws and that's
Laws and
right.
Meow.
Well, because yeah,
Well, you can have,
yeah.
like, Meow Wolf has 4 of our expressions.
Oh, do
And
they really?
it's
We
one of
could
our
just start
top
there and then go to laws.
it's one of our top on-prem accounts.
Awesome.
They're a very
Yeah,
cool
I can
bar.
imagine
That's good to
because
know.
the first one I went to, I needed more than whiskey. But yeah,
I went through and I don't know, I still don't know what I saw or what happened to me, but next time it's going to need psilocybin.
that would be a good one too.
Yeah. But yeah, there's a lot of things good to do here. And our new facility, if any of you have visited before, and we had the distillery, and you just went into this little room kind of thing. Well, we have a new building attached to it that is a brutalist style architectural design that won 3 architectural awards in the last year, including the top one for Colorado in 25. It's the building's super cool. Our architects were great. And then with Whiskey Magazine, it won the best whiskey experience. I don't know what they called it in for this year. And those things are given out to Heaven Hill and Buffalo Trace, and like we're nothing. We're not even an ankle biter to those things. And our facility won that, and our team won that, and our marketing people, which our marketing team, which is one person, won like the top awards for 2026. And um, well, I guess I'm biased, but Yeah, we deserve those. It's a really cool place, and our people are really great, and they're really hospitality focused, and they care about your experience.
Alan, I just wanted to say, I mean, I knew your two core products, uh, but this has been fantastic. I am, I am,
Love this.
I am so glad my Frontier Go Wild Pass did not work, and I had to book a JSX flight home from Vegas early. But yeah, man, it was absolutely well worth it. Phenomenal job on everything you've done, and I really enjoyed this conversation. It's it's great work you're doing, and I appreciate you.
I appreciate all that, and like this is what like feeds my levels or whatever the video game thing would be, or my soul. Like this is what I told them I wanted to do at the end of last year, and as my full time kind of thing, and talking to folks, describing what we do and why we do it more so than anything, and what's important to us. Hopefully that connects with you. So thank you all for spending your evening listening to my drabble.
Thank you. Thank you for spending the evening with us. We had a couple of questions in the chat. I know you kind of mentioned the single malt. Can you talk about Henry Road when that's coming out? And I see Mosaic on the website. How is that different? Because some of us are malt lovers, so we just want to learn more.
So this is bittersweet maybe for y'all. We didn't distribute it. We made, I don't know, 300 cases. Henry Road malt is there's no smoke in it. Barrels picked for brightness of barley, I think is how we describe it. And then Mosaic has some earthy depth to it. So Henry Malt is fun and expressive, and Origins balances out the exuberance with thought and maybe some darkness.
Wow. Available at the
Yeah,
distillery?
it's only available at distillery in Colorado. We distribute it to select places that when we don't go through Breakthrough to do it, our distributor, we're like, nah, this is not for you. If we have interest from some of our bottle shops or our bigger stores who are into it, we weren't going to force it. This is part of the times, right? Like we have a great billboard in Colorado when you go to stores and see our available like expressions. This is not the time to go, can you give us two more? It's not. It's a time to go, we're coming in here to help you move and explain stuff to people and sell it for you, not let you have to do that. And then also not burden you with us trying to sell you something. And then we also think that some of the things that we put out, like Headwaters Rye, Headwaters Bourbon for these rivers, we have another one coming later this year, but these are things that are near and dear to our heart. With all the water for the West, 8 rivers supply that, and they all start in Colorado. And so this is a very bad year, and it's not going to get better. Like we don't, y'all probably get rain. We don't know really what rain is, other than a thunderstorm and 20 minutes of like hail and whatever, and that's rain for us. It doesn't really rain here all day, ever. So, and we didn't get snow. So, Headwaters, the Henry Road, these are things that you have to come to see us because we want to be able to explain them to you instead of putting them on a shelf. Because Colorado is a place, we have 120 some DSPs, that's like licenses to make spirits. We've lost 30% of those in the last 2 years, but a bulk of them that still exist are in love with single malt because the culture here came from craft beer. So it isn't, barley. Oh, well, it's barley. Yeah, well, if you go to a homebrew store, look at how many barley types there are. This is roasting, humidity, blah, blah, blah. Like our farm can do all these kind of things, but you can create flavors through that. And we have a lot of talented people in Colorado that can take that from a beer realm into spirits. I don't like it's, I can talk about this for hours, but like, well, it doesn't do this. And we did some of that at the beginning. I'm like, well, we'll use chocolate malt, we'll do this. But those things don't evolve. And therefore they don't have soul to me. But the American single malt thing finally got approved not too long ago, a year ago, and a year and a half ago, and it allows for creativity. So even though that's not my thing, I would encourage you to step into American single malt. And just like I said about bourbon being very tight in its curve and what people think it's supposed to be, well, in malt, it's Scotch. I'll tell you, well, I know ours for sure. And then so many of these folks that do it are very passionate about it and are artists really in it. And their curve is very flat and wide. So there's something there if you want to go into it, but I think it's something that takes time. But Colorado is big for that because we have this tradition or heritage of this is craft beer mecca. This is it, right here. They still have 400 different breweries in the state, even though we lose 10, we get 8 back. Like it's still that. And people in this state, maybe in your state too, but they appreciate the efforts and the art that folks go through. They may not like it, or they may not like all of it. That's probably the better way to say it. But they're open to try it. And so we're blessed to be in this state where people will embrace something that's local and made to the highest standards, but you may not like it entirely because we're not trying to copy something that exists. I don't know. That was a long answer. Fuck. Sorry.
Oh, you're
But like
clearly
that's
passionate.
kind of what's going on.
Okay. You're, and it totally makes sense. I think we talked about this over email.
Yeah.
With the way the industry is going, you guys kind of pull out of kind of the broader market and keeping it local and supporting local commerce. We get it. We respect it, and we're happy for your successes, right?
We're coming back to California
Okay.
and we're coming back to Texas. We just need our distributor not to be a dumpster fire. That's the biggest problem we have right now.
Good luck. Everyone else too.
It's
The
so
distributor that we
terrible.
know
Like
is
those things are real things that all these layers of the 3-tier system, none of them are stable. None of them.
yeah.
We're, maybe the cement's, I don't even know if it's setting up yet, but it's pretty terrible. But we're coming back because we
Thank
had a
God,
good,
because it's horrible. It's horrible. It's horrible. It's horrible. As a
yes.
restaurateur. Okay.
Oh my God, I can't imagine that. Like broken case fees. We only deliver every 2 weeks.
Hey, look, RNDC goes out of business, and yeah, all of a sudden, a guy that's only specialized in beer now has all of the Buffalo Trace collection, and what the same shit, man. Yeah, it's also bad on our end.
No question.
Yeah,
It's
so
terrible. It's worse on your end than it is on ours. We haven't been able to do anything in Texas for 2.5 years. No one would return our call. And we had a great business there.
yeah.
So, but yeah, the company you refer to sent us an email maybe a month ago saying, we will take you in all these states that you were once with RNDC. Are you in? And we said, may as well.
Yeah, I think everybody's dealing with distribution problems right now. That's kind of the
It's
big thing.
tough. They don't do if so our view of the world is which is great for me because we don't make very much of anything right now. We have 6,000 barrels aging. So you don't need to make anything. So I get to go out and talk to people and we just take it to the street. Our mantra is basically every bottle counts. And that's how we run our business now. Like that's more soulful than, well, what was our target for the district? No, they're not going to do it. We have to do it. And our team loves that because it's in our control. And if you guys look around and watch the news, Nothing's in our control anymore. So it's just this big thing that nobody knows. So it feels very purposeful when you can take back, your reality maybe. And so yeah, I only sold like 8 bottles today, in 5 different locations, just popping in. But if I
I think
didn't, we wouldn't
you
have sold
sold a
those eight
couple
bottles.
just tonight with us, so I think that counts for that.
Well, this is super fun. I think I can't wait. Like, had a that's that Salt restaurant in Boulder, and I'm like, I gotta get back. Go, well, no, no, I gotta go. I got like a bunch of people to talk to online that I'm gonna have fun with.
Thank you.
I
We
mean,
appreciate it. Speaking
but
of,
you know,
go ahead, Chris.
just a quick comment, Alan. You may have only directly sold 8 bottles, but there is a knock-on effect from doing that. Those
Yes.
people go out and they spread, they talk about this great whiskey they've just drank. So yeah, you may only directly have sold 8, but there's a knock-on effect that you never see.
Yeah, and like literally some of these things, we have a couple day things at some of these chain retailers, and we have a chain here that has 8 stores, and we sold 525 bottles last week because we focused on a special release for that store and those stores, and they they committed to buy, I don't know, 8,000 bottles, and we sold 500 of them last week. So, and our team gets a lot of energy from that, and we get folks that haven't had, and it is a special batch. It's 2 grain, 3 grain, 4 grain married batch all over 6 years. And it's something we've done once before. We did it for them too, but like a lot of people can't commit to that kind of volume, and they did. So, and it's I don't know, this is the business part of it.
That
But at the
was
same time, we make something that's unique that we're proud of, and I'll stand for 2 or 3 hours in the aisle these places, and sign bottles and put it in their carts, and I have a great time.
that was a question. I've seen a lot of places that are going to, I mean, hey, we're buying single barrels for our restaurant and we're doing,
Yeah.
all this and listening to you, I'm like, I can automatically tell that that's, oh no, I ain't doing that shit.
Well, no, that's not what we do with that is we empathize with the capital commitment. So we go,
Yeah.
hey, you're this, you're putting us in cocktail, we'll sell you a half barrel. So we're adjusting the risk because we don't want to, we're basically taking hospitality to retail
Yeah.
and try to go like, hey, we can work with any of this. Um, if you want to like commit to that for us, that's a big deal to us. We thrive on that.
Okay.
So for us to say, well, you don't have to do this, or you want to take this. If it works, then you can take the rest, but the rest will just go into the next batch or something. But it allows you to be special and then allows us to get the volume pull of a cocktail program and to have our name on something out there associated with you. Those are real to us. And we're just trying to be humanistic, right? Like this is, you know, we're not, again, we're such an ankle biter for any of these large things. We don't have to do anything that they do. We can do whatever we want to do if we have the right relationships.
I like it. Perfect.
Yeah, this is the industry. I know we're talking, this is probably, you guys are like, well, what does the whiskey taste like? But this is like this business has changed dramatically in just under 3 years. And the narrative that you read in the press is all wrong. Gen Z narrative, all wrong. I got 2 of them. It's not that. It's like it's just different, and most of it's economic. So Gen G doesn't drink, really? Why is Buzzballs gone up 800%?
Hmm.
You guys wouldn't drink that because it's like, where's the Kool-Aid guy breaking through the thing with like a bottle of tequila over his like it's like not it doesn't make any sense, but it does in the economics. You buy these things, it's like 16% or something for $3.
Yep.
Are they not drinking? Mm. I'm an economist, Wall Street economist, trained in data analysis for many, many years. The narrative is all wrong. It's not right.
To be fair, when we were 21, we drank cheap vodka
Yeah.
and Boone's Farm, right? Like we all went through that phase, so it's really unfair to judge the next generation when they're not at that level yet. They're just
No,
not there yet. Like most
it's
people in this
this.
room,
They don't
yeah,
have this. They don't have jobs yet. AI,
exactly.
brain of AI,
Bartles and
all these
James
things. It's
wine
all real.
coolers.
These
Bartles
are all
and
real
James wine
things, folks.
coolers.
Like they just are. All this stuff is real. But it isn't that everyone wants to put everything into a narrative today, and that's not half of Gen Z isn't even 21 yet. You know that?
Yeah, I love when they release the numbers and they're like, oh, the 20 to 25 category isn't drinking. And I'm like, they're not allowed to.
Yeah.
They're still in
Yeah.
college. They can't afford a $40 bottle of bourbon.
No.
A brand once asked me, they're like, what steps do you take to make sure that someone underage doesn't sign up for your tasting? I'm like, when I was 19, I wasn't going to spend $40 on 6 ounces of
No
whiskey.
way would you do that. No way. $40? You know how many buzz balls you can get for that?
I don't, thankfully.
God, like you should see this. I had lunch with one of the like two largest liquor stores in the state today. They love that stuff. He's like, oh yeah, we sell tons of it. But that's the cigarette to it's the you know, that sounds it seems like I'm selling drugs when I say that. It's it's a different experience. Alcohol is about occasion and experience and civilization, and THC beverages are not. I read a great article on THC beverages where somebody who produces them said, yeah, okay, I'm going to come clean on this. 85% of them are drank at home and alone. They're like taking a pill for a hard day. They're not sessionable. 2% is drank outside of the home. Because if you have one of those, you don't even know what's going to happen. You don't. And I don't mean that to scare anyone or like it's just and I have certain experience with this because my daughter made me have one of these at Thanksgiving. It was a disaster. But I did get to sleep for 12 hours, which was really nice.
You ended up shooting 11 hours or 11 under in Tiger Woods. I mean,
Mm. And I think it improved my vision, but that was only for like 20 minutes. They're not the same and they're marketed as the same. It's not the same. People don't have them. 75% of this is just inflation took away all the salary increases that happened after COVID. Like that's real. Again, I'm a financial economist from Wall Street originally, and that's my read of this is the sector's hit has more to do with just economics than anything else and uncertainty. And I'm sure none of you feel really certain about what's going on because I don't. And that's not a political statement. It's just I don't know what to hook my anchor to. It changes every day. But I'll tell you what I love hooking it to. Laws, bonded, Centennial.
That's the best thing. I love that. Our favorite of
I
the
think my
night.
wife's gonna have to come pick me up now.
Al, we all voted for our favorite of the night. Of the six we tasted, what do you think was the group's favorite?
I think everyone's gonna vote for Super Weeder.
All right, the results are in. Final answer?
Super Weeder, final answer.
You are correct. Super Weeder takes it by a landslide.
Yeah, I'm taking a picture of this because I want to show it to my production team.
Yeah.
Oh, they growl about wheat
I
whiskey,
mean,
wheat
Super
whiskey.
Weeder
I'm like,
took as many votes as the second place tied combined. So for those of you watching at home who can't see the replay, Super Weeder's first place with nearly 50% of the votes, and then 4 grain bourbon, Centennial Wheat, and then 10-year bonded split second place. And this is just favorite of the night, right? So A lot of these, I'm sure, would have been a close second, but we do hold people's feet to the fire and make them pick one.
I like it. I find the most interesting was the 0 on the cognac because it
It's
usually.
Again, it's because it's favorite of the night. I'm sure a few people were like, "Oh, I loved it," but the Super Weeder just bumped it off the first place.
Oh
Yeah,
man, it
that
was like a
second.
tsunami over it. It's not. It doesn't have stand a chance. And the 10-year over the regular rye, I totally get that one.
Yeah,
Like you can't. eh, You can't say, oh, you can say you like them both, but you can't say you like just the flagship over the 10 is so exquisite and delicate and beautiful. You can't. You just there's no way you could do that. But I like that Centennial Wheat like was in line with the 4 grain. Yeah, I'm gonna point that out tomorrow. or when's tomorrow? I know Monday, Tuesday when we have our meeting. Like this is super fun. I hope you guys had fun. Hopefully it was like slightly entertaining.
it
You
was
learned
great.
something about laws. And
No,
I
it's
really
been great.
appreciate your time. I really appreciate being asked to do this, and I really appreciate your all your time. I really do. It's so fun that you like gave me this time to tell you all what we do here. So
I
thank
love
you.
it. Thank you so much, Al. We appreciate it. We appreciate your time and give our best to the team and the missus, please.
I shall. There's no
Okay.
hockey
So
tonight, so she's busy. She's out with her hockey mums.
Thanks, Al.
Thank you all.
Good night.